There are many beautiful ornamentations in our sanctuary, but the crown jewel is probably right up there behind the altar. It is the wooden carving of the Last Supper, as described in the book of John when Jesus announces that one of his disciples will betray him. The Last Supper was originally a 15th century painting by Leonardo da Vinci, who you probably have heard of. But what is the origin of this particular carving of the Last Supper? Well, our friends at Seen Through a Window are going to tell you. You see, the carving was a gift from Mr. and Mrs. A.W. Horton in the 40s. I would like to read to you their story on how they encountered this beautiful design. Zekaway is a small village on the outskirts of Shanghai. Here there is an orphanage that is run by French Jesuit fathers. It serves orphan Chinese children and supports abandoned children whose parents were too poor to support them. There is a stone wall around the orphanage, and on intervals, there are large wooden drawers that can be opened on the outside, where abandoned infants can be deposited. About 2,000 Chinese boys of all ages are in this orphanage in Zekaway. They are given a home, an education, and training in many skills such as carpentry, masonry, and metalworking. There are shops at the orphanage where the boys are trained and receive practical experience. Products sold here are made by the orphans, and the proceeds are used to support that incredible institution. My wife Lida's father and I operated an American modern funeral home in Shanghai. We constructed wooden caskets, and we purchased metal handles, crucifixes, and nameplates from Zekaway. We were often at the institution, and we knew all of the French fathers and their Chinese students. Occasionally, there were deaths at the orphanage, and we were the ones that took care of the funerals. Knowing about the fine work that they were doing and wanting to do our part, we seldom charged them for our services. Once, I was at Zekaway, and they were constructing that Last Supper carving. I admired it tremendously and remarked how beautiful it would look in our funeral chapel. Then and there it was earmarked for me, although I did not know that at the time. For about a year, I watched the centerpiece take shape under the skilled hands of the master Chinese instructor. Meanwhile, 4 young students were carving the 4 teakwood border pieces that portray different episodes in the life of Christ. Finally, the carving was completed and presented to Lida and I. But it never made it to our funeral chapel. Instead, it was shipped to the United States, thankfully a few months before the tragedy at Pearl Harbor. We are happy that the Last Supper is now in a place where it can be admired by many who love the story of Christ and admire the craftsmanship and the love behind the carving. It has been here since Easter of 1949, and whenever we see it, we give thanks and we pray for the health and well-being of our Chinese friends. We hope they are well and alive.